everyone, and we share stories, do crosswords in the morning. It sounds a bit corny, but
sounds great.
it's really good fun. There are dogs in the building. There are cats as well. People share the responsibility of walking the dogs. The dogs sit downstairs and you pat them, and they really create that sense of community. I think I've been in most people's apartments. The last time I was here was for the first course of a progressive dinner. The second course was on the 5th floor, and the dessert and coffee course was in one of the upper apartments. So there is that vertical street, and that's enabled through swipe cards that allow people to access everyone's floor, rather than a sense of loss of security by that. I think it actually improves that. Most people have keys to one another's apartments, and if you're a single woman, who do you give your key to? If your children have moved out, it's just another layer to making your life safe. The renovation that we're doing at the moment, the gentleman who sold it has actually bought again in the building. Someone else on the 13th floor has sold theirs and rented another one. It doesn't seem to matter whether you're renting or owning. People stay in the building.
It's really amazing what you talk about with that sense of community, because we don't necessarily think about that when we think of city living. In some ways, it sort of seems, you see the exteriors of some of these buildings and think, oh, how can that have a sense of community? What's going on within it? And that's why it's such a unique opportunity to actually, come in off the street and see how the life of a building like this actually works.
It does work very well, and I think originally it did stem from the cafe and the fact that people stay here a long time. There's a lot of original residents, and I think that says what a great building it is.
We've got a unique opportunity today to actually see an apartment that is not finished like this one, but one which is much more rustic, don't we?
We do, yes. I have to say one of my favourite times during the whole renovation process has to be construction.
Excellent. Well, we've got an opportunity to see it, so Shelley, would you mind showing us through?
Sure.
Fantastic. So, Shelley, we've moved from a beautiful apartment downstairs. We've come up here. I can see there's lots of potential of things that are going to happen here, but very different feel, isn't it?
It is, yes, and this is the exciting bit. Demolition when the things come out, and then seeing what's possible. And of course I do have to say that in talking about the refurbishment, it's nothing against what the original architects did. It's just tailor making to a client. And in this instance they had a piano, and so the brief was they have to get the piano upstairs because we're in a 2-volume space, and so that brief allowed the reconstruction of the stair, opening up the void as wide as we possibly can so you can get furniture up.
So it really is that idea of a living, modular, changing space all the time, isn't it, within this building?
It does evolve, and again, going back to sustainability, buildings should be able to evolve, effectively change uses, and if they can, they work.
And this building works so well because, going back to what you were saying about the concept of actually having good design principles at the beginning, then you can build onto something like this, and it's not going to fall apart. The foundations are here.
They're literally, yes.
And this really allows people to have the best of city living, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, you've got, as I mentioned, different apartment types, different orientations, different width balconies, different volumes of spaces. And again, that's what attracts people and keeps them in here. They kind of become involved in the community that's Hero and don't want to leave, and that's a good thing.
And you yourself are a bit of an advocate for city living, aren't you? What is it that's so lovely about living in a city like Melbourne?
I can walk everywhere. I feel safe. It's about the accidental meeting. If you've lived somewhere long enough, you do meet people you know. It's the neighbourhood. It's buying local, again, coming back to sustainability. I rarely go out of the city. You know, my greengrocers is up the road at Victoria Market. I've been going there for 18 odd years. The dry cleaners are the same. I've had my shoes healed from the same person. It's fantastic.
You're really part of a community, whereas sometimes that idea of having the Australian dream of the quarter-acre block and having your garden and your fence, it actually means that you fence yourself in and you're quite isolated.
You do as well. And again, being up higher, I think I'd feel very uncomfortable on the ground because I like to keep the doors and windows open, and you can do that. You don't have to worry about, you know, someone coming in off the street. It's ridiculous the amount of money you pay in insurance, because who's going to burgle a 6th-floor apartment? You know,
Too hard.
It doesn't happen.
Not to mention the amazing views that you're getting out of the windows of buildings like this.
Oh, you do, and it's a very intimate view too. You get to see people on the street. We've been known to sort of spot the empty car space. So if someone does have a car and they need to park it, you get the close view and the distant view, and again, it just extends your own living space. So with a fence, your view is absolutely contained to looking out the window at a finite object. Here it just extends out to the horizon. And I mean, Melbourne, we're blessed with all the seasons and the sunsets that we get. You know, the gold, it just transforms the environment.
Absolutely beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, we've got one more spot to look at in the Hero Apartments, and we're going to go down to kind of the heart or the hub of the building now, aren't we?
The lounge room.
Oh, this sounds
The meeting
great.
place, yes.
All right, well, let's go and have a look.
Okay.
So, Shelley, you've taken us through many different bits of this building, of the Hero Apartments, and we've come back down to what's normally the heart of the building, haven't we?
We have, talking about the heart as the heart of the home, the kitchen. This could be described as the kitchen, the outdoor lounge room, and it is normally a lot busier. End of the day, as you said, but you come here in the morning and it's packed with people, and that's where people sit, swap stories, read the paper, have breakfast, go off and do their walk. You've got people coming in with dogs, and it's really open to everyone. Not just residents either, you get a lot of workers coming here, and they're all regulars. Coffee's good, I'll give John a plug. Coffee's very good, the staff are fantastic, and it's a great place to be. Like Europe, a lot of people have smaller apartments, so they don't entertain at home, they entertain in cafes or bars. This is an extension of the home.
Well, it's been really interesting actually today, sort of looking at that concept of what a home is or what a home can be in the city, and that's a topic that's quite close to your heart, isn't it?
It is, yes. I'm a member of the Australian Institute of Architects, and an initiative of the Institute is something called MA, truck going by there, Melbourne Architecture Annual. And what we're exploring is ways of living. It could be the house on the quarter-acre block. It could be an apartment, a townhouse. It sadly is also a small section of pavement to many people. So what we're looking at is how people live, how they can live. But what is it that brings them all together? What is it that gives everyone that sense of community? And that's what we'll do with Melbourne Architecture Annual, which occurs the last week of October. So come down to Federation Square, that's where all the centre of activity will be. architects will be offering design advice.
Right.
If you want to come down and have a chat, there'll be a whole bunch of talks happening, exploring of ideas. So it's an open forum.
Well, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for people like me that are interested in architecture but don't necessarily know a lot. It's such a fantastic opportunity to be able to engage and really think about the way we live our lives. So that sounds
And
great.
it is about engagement.
Well, thank you so much, Shelley Roberts, for joining us on the show. It's been a really fabulous opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you.